tuning into One Mustard Seed Soaps. Welcome to Quarantine Look. Even though when I'm filming this, we're kind of getting back to normal, but I wanted to explain a couple things. First of all, I haven't done a video in a long time. I did a Facebook post earlier about these 2 loaves of soap, which were made the exact same way, and I'll post some video on the making of it later. But I thought this would be a good teaching moment, since so many of you tell me how interesting you find it, how all this stuff works. So basically, when you go to make this soap, you know, you've seen on the videos how, and I recently did a post on the whole lye water thing. So, you know, you mix the lye water, or you mix the lye in with the water, and then you have your fats, which would be your oils. You have your hard oils and your soft oils, and whatever your recipe is for that. And then you mix the 2 of those together, and whatever other additives you are going to put in, milks, clay, oats, sometimes herbs, whatever you're putting in there. So you get all that together. It's kind of like, it's sort of like making a cake, except except a lot of things. But for one thing, the lye water heats up to 200 degrees. You have to wait for that to cool. So there's a lot of temperature things going on that have to be right. And the big thing is, and I have my, recipe thing here, and so it will tell me, depending on, and this is a program online, but it will tell me depending on what oils and all I want to have in there, how much water, distilled water, how much lye water, and then it breaks down, depending on what percentages I want, how much oils to put in there. And so that all goes together and makes the soap. So if you leave out an ingredient, or you put too much in of an ingredient, it wouldn't matter so much on something like the additives, like the clays and oats, although that could make for a brittle bar, or a bar or batter that you couldn't work with because it would get thick. But anyways, that's a whole nother story. In this case, so I have already made several times the mistake where I couldn't remember if I added oil and added it again, and then ruined the whole batch because I have way too much and I can't equal it out because I can't even remember what I did, which is a shame because you throw all of your ingredients away when that happens. And you also have to dispose of the caustic material that really hasn't made the chemical reaction like it would have. So that's, you try not to have that happen. When I was a newbie, I had that happen a couple times. But I haven't done that in a really long time. But what I did do this past weekend was I was double batching, and I got distracted and only have kind of stations because of the way that I'm doing this. So most of you who follow me know that I have the she shed, and I go out there and do the hard oils, which aren't hard right now because they're all melted, but that's okay. That's a help, actually. And so I'll go out there and get that part together, and I'll usually, if I'll do it, or if I can get one of my sons to do it to help me out, I scoop all that out and make a bunch of buckets full of all the hard oils, during one day. And I'll do all the lye at that time also. So it's all out there cooling, and it's all, I have to seal it. And once the lye water cools, I have to seal that so it doesn't evaporate, doesn't get any kind of particles or anything in it. So that's kind of step 1, stage 1. Then when I come in here, I have a station, because I'm actually right now in my big laundry room, which is where I moved everything from the she shed, and it works out just fine, except for the distraction part. So sometimes the kids are walking through, my mom is here right now, she's walking through, and I'll just get distracted, answer a question, or I'll even, I'm hungry, let me just walk over there to the refrigerator right in the middle, that stuff happens. So I have a station over there, which is where I have the cocoa butter and shea butter, and I have that in here even though it's hard. why I do that, but I just do. I have that in here. And then I have my soft oils, my avocado, rice bran, all the soft oils, sapphire, sunflower, all of those jugs of soft oils. They're in a station like right over there. Don't look at my mess. Okay, so I have that right there. And so I usually will bring the hard oils in and the lye and go over there and measure, put the soft oils in, and I'll do this 2 or 3 batches at a time to save time. Well, this particular time I didn't do that, and I said, well, I guess I didn't remember that I didn't do that because somehow or another I left 16.5 ounces of soft oils out of one of these. And I knew it when I mixed it. I was like, this is getting really hard really fast, and that didn't seem right. But you know, oh well, it's hot. I don't know. And so, of course, this had to be when I was trying a brand new thing. I saw this thing a long time ago and took a picture of it, and I really have been wanting to try it, and I just was motivated yesterday morning, and I was like, oh, let me try it. And so of course it had to be on that batch of soap. However, on the other hand, I'm glad it was, because I was adding something in a pretty good amount that wasn't in the recipe, and so, which it's already soap. So, and I'll get back to that in a second. But anyway, so I was adding that in, and I should have had batter left over. So I knew that. So I'd even pulled out molds and everything to fill up with the extra batter for little hand soaps or something. When I got to the end, I did not have any batter left over. So I was like, well, that seems not right. And it occurred to me, okay, the soap was getting hard. Did I put that extra 16.5 ounces in? Now I'm not sure that I did. And so then I wasn't sure if I did. I'm still not 100% positive, but I don't think I did. So now I can't use the soap because it's gonna be way too strong if I didn't, with the lye, if I didn't put that in there. So I'm gonna cut it, I'm gonna let it cure, and I'm gonna pH test it in 6 weeks and see where it is. And I think there's a way you can rebatch soap that you've messed up. I've never really checked into all of that just because more research is just not what I have time for right now, but I might, because it is a whole loaf. So the mistake loaf is this one, and so it molded, it came out, but I really think that I did make the mistake because it's crumbly like, and I don't know when I go to cut it if it's gonna crumble, right? And I don't know, that will be a sure tell sign though. But anyway, this is Calypso Sun, which is a great fragrance. Oh, and to boot, like, I picked up the fragrance and knocked the thing, like a portion of the fragrance that was supposed to go in here, onto the mat that I have down here. So it wasn't, maybe I hadn't had enough coffee. I don't know. It wasn't meant to be. So I think this is the big mistake. And then this one, I got angry, of course, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm making that soap totally over again with a different fragrance oil. So I didn't have that same fragrance oil. So this one is, I think I put mango coconut. I think that's what this one is, mango coconut. So what I was trying to put in the middle of this was glycerin soap, and it makes a really cool effect, but you can't let the soap go through gel, which is when, once it's in the mold, it gets heated up again, probably to close to 200 degrees. I don't bother with it. Most of my soaps I want to go through gel, and I do not have access anymore since I moved to a second refrigerator. I used to put them, if I didn't want them to gel, I put them in the refrigerator, or sometimes even, like, if it was a milk soap, I put it in the freezer. But I can't make those anymore because I don't have access to that right now anyway, until I get, maybe eventually I will, but I'll show you what happens. So this one was gelled. This is still, I'm letting it sit, but can you see the crack down the middle? And that just happens when, this is a totally normal thing of soap, and it will be fine because Usually it cracks right down the center, which is cool because that's right where I cut it, so you don't even really notice. But anyways, and this one is shaped this way because this, I'm gonna cut it in a minute, is gonna be 2 loaves. So of course it's got 2 humps because I wanted it to go up in both. You can see here, and I don't know what it did on the inside because I wasn't able to refrigerate it like it wanted, like it called for, but this is the glycerin soap in the middle. And on the top, you can see that green pooled there. That is glycerin soap. So that was the experiment that I was trying. And glycerin soap, when I get it, I don't get the brand that comes from like Michael's or anything, but this is what it looks like. And you know, you can put your colorant in here. It makes a really cool effect, but it also, it's very, it would melt. I forget what its melting point is, but it would melt if the soap heated back up to 200 degrees. So that's why you put it in the refrigerator. Anyways, I'm not doing a very good job teaching on this video because I haven't done one in a long time. I feel like I'm out of my groove, but I'm just gonna keep going. But I did want to show you about glycerin soap. So that's soap that comes already made up. If you've ever, for yourself or even with your kids, done a project where you know, can melt the soap in the refrigerator and then pour it into any mold. That's what glycerin soap is. That's the clear kind, which was the effect that I wanted. But I used the white kind to make like my shells. This is before it's been, I paint these when I put them on the beach soap, but this is before it's been painted. And this is a, it's just a little bit of the mold there, but this is a glycerin melt and pour. It's the other name. And that's the white kind. It has a teeny bit of tan colorant in it. That's why it's not white. And then like this one had some blue. Here's a mermaid tail. This one is one that I've painted. There's a unicorn ears and horn. And then I'm getting ready to make a soap called Rose Jam. So I'm making a whole bunch of these roses, glycerin roses, for something different for that soap. Anyway, so those are also glycerin or melt and pour. And I love melt and pour. For me, on my skin, a whole melt and pour bar. I don't make totally all glycerin soap unless it's hand soap, because it, for me, long term, it doesn't do anything to moisturize my skin, and it's just not got as many ingredients because it's already made up when I get it. So it's not got the ingredients in it that I specifically want, but it's really fun to play with and add into. And that's what I did with these 2 soaps. So anyway, all of that said, just want to give you kind of a background. I'm going to get down my, my splitter here, and I will cut these right down the middle. And we'll see what happened in the middle of them. And then for sure, this one will be available in about 5 to 6 weeks. This one I doubt is ever gonna come out. I'm either gonna rebatch it or throw it away if I can figure out, you know, somehow to use it. Okay, so let's cut. Thanks for watching, by the way. All right, and I can just tell by touching this that this is just definitely not right. It is crumbly. It feels extra hard. I hope it doesn't break my thingy here. And it just doesn't feel good on my skin. Look, this doesn't even want to cut. I'm afraid it's gonna break. It's all right. I mean, it's hard, but it is crumbling. That's just, the lye content is too high. See, pieces are breaking off. Huh. Interesting. This is where the glycerin soap, I'm still going to cut a few pieces of it. All right, so back to this one. I love this one though. So cool. Okay. See my big mold back here. I haven't tried it yet. Okay, so this one should go through easier, and the soap is so much softer, as it should be right now, because it hasn't cured. The only thing about that is when you add glycerin soap to a loaf of soap, it's gonna be harder, because the glycerin soap, anybody that's done melt and pour knows, only takes a few minutes before it's hard. So like this is, you know, this part is melt and pour, and it doesn't need to cure, and it's hard, you know, within a few seconds. So that can make the cutter, in fact, these cutters are not made to cut the glycerin soap, any kind of glycerin soap bars. So well, we'll have to see, because other than this glop right here, I think this thing gelled, and I'm not sure how much glycerin soap got in the middle like I wanted. I think it melted on into the soap, but except for where I had this big accumulation of it. Oh well, live and learn. It's not going to hurt anything. It won't, not at all. In fact, it might even make the soap even more bubbly, because glycerin soap is bubblier. But you can see that glycerin soap there in there. So I'm going to cut this, slice it, cut it, and you can see now why I had those two bumps in it. See? So it'll be like regular soap. I'm going to slice this. So if you want to see it sliced up, I'll post the making video of that in the comments of this video. Okay? See ya over there. Thanks again for watching, and have a great, blessed day.